Okay, so today we're going to do a little bit of irrigation pipe. This is going to be super fast and furious. You can see my really neat workbench is the best place to work. But the things that I have that are important are a blowtorch. I have a valve that we're going to put together. I have a razor knife, a cutting tool for the tubing, which you don't have to have, but is helpful. A nut driver. This is one of my fittings. This is another fitting for a splice. I have just a regular saw. This is a hack saw. You can use a regular saw if you want. Some Teflon tape, and I've also got some radiator clamps here. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut our tube. And here, the easiest way to do it is you can just take a regular saw. I like to use a hack saw because it has a little bit of a finer cut, but any saw actually will do. And you can cut it, and you wanna just brace it against something, and you can just cut like that. And because we're making a video and I'm bored, I'm gonna do it that way. I'm gonna use my cutting tool, which is a lot faster and a lot easier. You could also use a razor knife if you wanted to. Cutting tool is great because it just goes around like that. Cut my tube. So now I have two pieces. It's helpful to have the tube be pretty square on the end. It doesn't have to be perfect, but helpful. So the first thing we're going to do is a splice. If we wanted to put a splice in, you can usually force them in like that. You could take a rubber mallet and pound that. Another thing I like to do is I like to touch it with some heat. Doesn't take very much. Put a little bit of heat on it like that. Then this will slide right in. You put it right up to the midpoint right there. Take your radiator clamp, take your nut driver, and you screw it on like this. You just screw it nice and tight. If you wanted to make, depending on your system, if you had something where you had a lot of pressure, you might even double these hose clamps. And if you would double it, I usually put them back to back like that. So you have the nut on one side and the nut on the other. That's normally not required, not necessary. I need this radiator clamp, so I'm going to take it back. If I wanted to put this on the other side, same thing. I can pressure it, heat it, put it right on like that. So you can make all your fittings go together that way. On some other ones, you might have a barb fitting that you're going to screw into because it's threaded like that. So what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to add just a little bit of heat. And again, it's not very much at all. I'm going to squeeze it in there like that. I don't like having a label on like that, so I'm going to take that off. Squeeze it in like that, radiator clamp, and I'm going to tighten it like that. Now, the best thing to do is to get your radiator clamps on first before you put your fittings in, because obviously if you put your coupling together, then you're not going to be able to get your radiator clamps on. You can unscrew your radiator clamps all the way and then piece them together as another way that gives you in the out. Now, when I'm ready to thread this on like this, it's really great to put some Teflon tape. The rule of thumb I use is I hold it in my left hand, I take the tape, hold it with my thumb like this, and I wrap it over the top. And the direction matters. And I go all the way down like that. And I'll come out about one, so it ends up being about 2 layers of Teflon with my 2 ends up at the top here. The reason why I'm going this way is because when I thread it, I'm twisting it this way. So you want to make sure you get it the right way. Otherwise it sort of unscrews the Teflon. I put this in like this. For something like this, I would take a wrench. I'd put a wrench on this end, like that, and then I'd take a open pliers or something like that, and I would tighten it just a little bit more to get it tight. Put it the wrong way. Go like that to make it tight. Generally out in the field, if you feel if there's a little bit of weeping after you have pressure on this, you can just tighten a little bit further. 2 layers of Teflon is good, 3 can work. If you start piling on the Teflon, you're probably not doing yourself any favors. That's more or less what you need to do. Get all your valves and all your fittings together. Good luck.